Hey guys, it's Georgia Jean of CircleEvolution.com.
And Melissa here from themarslab.com.
Welcome back to Coming Out of the Cosmic Closet. We are going to pick it up right here with part B of this two-parter about my massive event that I had to make connection with the Circle of Light. If you haven't caught part one of that story, head on back over to episode 1. Make sure you catch that and come right back. And we're going to dive right into this wild and wacky story right now.
Giddy up.
Grab a unicorn. Everyone has a special gift. Mine? The Circle of Light. They speak through me, and they're here to assist the planet's evolution to a more enlightened space. And for some reason, they chose me, a raunchy comedian, to be their vessel. I used to be secretive about my ability, but now it's time to come out of the cosmic closet, and you should too. My name is Georgia Jean, and these are my crazy stories.
So how far, you're doing therapy, going to all these healing type conferences, learning new healing modalities, right?
Yeah.
So then how long is that process until
The event.
you realize you're a channel?
Well, that happened as a big event. So another kind of parallel thing was I had a friend who actually was a girl that I had met in Portugal who there was two girls who lived in California, and I was living in Portugal, kind of trying to decide whether I'd go to Berlin and be an artist or because that was my original training was art. And I was like, might go to Berlin and become an artist. But I met these girls and they were like, hey, you're really funny. You should come to San Diego and be a comedian. We know a guy who works at the Comedy Store down there. So I was like, that actually sounds like more fun.
Wow.
than going to Berlin and being an artist. So anyway, I came to America, and I don't think these girls like really believed I would show up. I'm like, hey, I'm here to be a comedian.
With your suitcases. What's your girlfriends? I'm here.
Yeah, totally. And like most Australians, I like stayed on the couch for like way too long. It's quite embarrassing when I look back at it. I'm like, oh my God. But anyway, they were like, yeah, you can come and stay. And they're like, she's still here. Never tip for everybody. Never tell an Australian backpacker they can come and crash with you, because we take that shit literally. We're going to crash and crash and crash and crash and crash. No, good value though. But anyway, so this particular girl, I had actually had to go to the hypnotherapist with me, and then we kind of simultaneously we're really into this stuff. Like, we're like, what is it? Yeah. What is the other side? What is going on with spirituality? You know, really at that time, there were some big name people. It was like when James and Prague was big and John Ed was crossing over.
Oh, sure.
That show was like really impactful because he really brought this like, maybe this talking to dead people thing's got something in it. Yeah, totally mainstream. And he was a very pleasant, sort of attractive, pleasant man, and like obviously not a nut job being like, well, the dead people are talking to me, you know. He was sort of very
and he had the the New York accent equals masculinity, right? So he was just masculine, like, hey, this guy's talking to me.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, grandma's here.
I got this gift. It's not a big deal.
It's not a big deal. Yeah, he was like down to earth about it, you know, and I think he was a pretty affecting person, you know, at that time. But my friend and I were like, what is this, you know? And then she independently, she lived in San Diego. She independently found this thing called a Pathfinder, not the car, not the Nissan. It's a thing called a Pathfinder, which was it was a shamanistic talking board. Basically like a Ouija board.
Talking board.
But it had, it was all in the light and had more like Native American designs on it.
Store-bought something she found in a store?
Yeah, she was at like like Borders or something. I don't know, somewhere in Encinitas.
I knew you were going to say that. That's where I got my first tarot deck.
Right?
Yeah.
Borders prefer. fine witchery.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was it was a similar thing of like when I see the people at the bar, you know, she saw this box kind of underneath this bargain table and she went and picked it up and it was like, oh, what is this? And it was just talking about it, and she took it home and she could, you know, like, I mean, when I was a kid, we tried like seance and we had all like the glass.
You're moving it.
You're moving.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like you're
I'm not
pushing,
moving it. It's moving
going.
itself.
And it would go really slow when it did actually, it would be like, you know,
I'm not doing that.
I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
And, you know, you'd have like write out the ABC on torn up bits of paper and turn it around like, so she could actually sit at this thing by herself with her hand on this kind of plastic disc.
Wow.
Like she started it obviously with a friend, but it was just whipping around like and would spell out, you know, all this kind of spirit dictation, right? And it was just like you know, this kind of crazy phenomena that happened to my friend. And through this board, so simultaneously.
Well, what kinds of things, what were the messages coming through for her?
Well, of course, so I would go down and, you know, and I'd be like the secretary taking the spirit dictation.
Yeah.
And of course, we were always asking, you know, when am I going to get a sitcom? Like, what?
Oh, okay. So she was asking like practical day-to-day
We would
matters.
ask all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
But because it took a while to spell it out, it would also sort of say, you know, after a while it started saying to her, and hopefully I'll have her on the show one time.
Yeah.
And it would spell out this stuff like, if you let us speak through you, we can give you so much more information. Like this is kind of like a slow way of doing it, right? And so we would sit there, and I would sit there like a little, you know, secretary and write out this dictation. So yeah, so simultaneously, while all this like hellacious stuff was happening at the Comedy Store, we kind of had the board going, and I think my friend was using it for about a year and a half, and then she came up to LA one day, and all my roommates were all a little into this at the time, and I hope to actually get them on the show as well, because another one of them really opened up and actually had very strong, like, we're seeing a lot of the dead people business and stuff, and we were all in this kind of goddess group and everything, and my friend came up, so we were all like, yeah, we'd always be like, let's do the board, let's talk to the other side. And the board was, so on this one particular day, she was sitting there and she was like, well, I'm just feeling really weird, like this energy. She had started on occasion feeling like the energy kind of push in on her, and she was feeling like a little weird. And
like intimidated, you think, or just quelled?
Yeah, it's like, you know, it is pretty. When the energy comes in, it's kind of like a little bit like you're drugged or something. Sure. You know, you get that kind of spacey thing, and you know, but you can feel it like a warmth or a heat. It's hard to explain, like kind of pushing in. And I don't know if she was. We were like, do it, let it in, because at this stage we had been listening to Abraham. I had been reading Seth. Like, we knew what channeling was. We weren't like, oh my God, like it's, you know, what is this like terrifying thing? There was already solid examples of people who were doing good in the world. Esther Hicks, who channels Abraham, is like this lovely she's a lovely kind of Midwestern looking lady, you know, she's not like, again, like with the John Edwards sort of thing, like just had that we're just real folks, relatable. You know, relatable. And so we're like, let it happen, do it. You know, and so the energies came in, and she just kind of was going, she had like some tears coming down her cheeks because, you know, and then she just was kind of going like, ee! And just making this high pitched squeal.
Wow.
Yeah. And then, so then we, oh my gosh, we were just like, okay, you know, after a while it was just clear that, you know, like that's what we were going to get on that day, right? But we're like, this is so cool. And a part of me was like, wonder what's happening to her, not me. Like, I've been meditating for a long time.
Open too.
I'm really open. And I think there was something in that thought process which was me. I did not, for the slightest minute, actually believe it could happen to me.
You didn't believe
No.
that. Okay.
I had a sort of probably like a little bit of envy about it or something, or some kind of like, oh, that would be cool. But there was nothing in my experience that was saying this is going to happen to you.
Yeah.
I was just like, I just thought it was cool that it was happening to somebody. And then I'd have her on tap all the time for my love life, be like, does that bartender love me? Tell me.
Are there invisible strings connecting us?
Yeah, like, he wants me, but what is he fighting? And then he's never asked me out. What is it inside of him? When is it going to happen or whatever? But anyway.
Walk around with me all the time.
Yeah, just so sad that this is like the non-physical consciousnesses are coming in, and I'm like, but tell me about the bartender.
Yeah. So like, but when am I going to get laid? Yeah.
This is great. All this stuff about.
Glad that you're having a spiritual breakthrough and all.
Yeah, but
I'm trying to get laid.
When am I going to get some action? Like honestly, nothing's changed. Like, come on. So anyway, so next time I go down to visit my friend in San Diego.
Same chick.
Okay. And I don't think I've said her name so far, and I'm not going to use it until I know that I can use it, because I think she's a little bit in the cosmic closet about it herself.
That's cool.
We sat down, and I'm sitting there with my, spirit dictation, pen and paper, and the board starts spelling stuff out really quickly, going, again, like there's masses of energy here today. You're going to feel a little bit strange. You'll make some high-pitched voice noises. And literally, as I wrote about that third line, I just suddenly felt really weird. And I was like, oh, my God, I think it's happening to me. My head just dropped down. And this huge, 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 massive pulse of energy came pouring into me. And I honestly think it was because I was a stand-up comedian, that my throat chakra, my friend was a really wonderful, amazing artist.
Right.
And her hands were really open. I think the energies could just channel through her hands. Oh. But I was a comic, so as you might have noticed, I don't mind talking. This energy just boomed in, and before really my thinking process was there, which is a lot like what improv and being on stage is like, that things just fly out of your mouth before you, and so it's just funny.
Physically, were you frozen with it? Was it like
it was so crazy?
Yeah,
it was honestly still rates as probably the craziest weekend of my life.
Wow.
I've tried to keep it crazy, but no, so this massive energy pours in, and then my head drops, and then it just picks up, and then this big booming voice came out of me and was like, we are here, and we're here to change the planet, and you are going to help us. And
you remember all of that.
I remember the event obviously very clearly, and a lot of the content that they were saying was but there was so much energy, and my system wasn't ready for it, that there's a video of it out there somewhere, and I'm hoping that I can't find it.
Yeah.
Because the energies have just come in, and I'm getting up out of my chair, I'm turning around, and I distinctly remember it was like the big time where everyone was wearing thongs, like my thong is sticking out at the top of my jeans. I'm like, this is a real classy, spiritual awakening look.
Yeah.
Really tight jeans and a pink thong hanging out the top.
Right, and that was a low-cut jean time.
It was kind of,
trying to keep your thong hidden anyways.
Yeah, and did you really want to? What's up, boys? No, so.
But let alone when there's some
other the cosmic forces. Yeah, exactly.
So, her thong was hanging out. Yeah, it's fine.
Don't judge me. Well, this was the whole thing. Why on earth would you pick me?
But someone was videoing.
So the first day, this thing happened, right? They came in and they were like, and they were actually like, we want you to film this. We want you to record this, because this is a thing that's happening.
Yeah.
We want you to,
That was their coming out.
They were. They were like, video this, ladies.
Yeah.
What's up? We're here. It's taken a while. You finally left the You finally left the Comedy Store so we could bust in.
Yeah.
Bust into your pants, literally. So
Yes.
no, they're very respectful. I want you to know that. But so we had this sort of first day, and it was because I was a channel, because I was a comedian, I think I could channel it, and that I was able to sort of talk my friend through they through me, talk my friend through this kind of sort of relaxation process. So then she was channeling. So we're both channeling.
Whoa.
Right?
She's doing it via hands.
No, now she's got it. She started verbally channeling as well. She started verbally channeling. And the
that's a motorcycle, not
oh yeah, we got a motorcycle. We're gonna let the motorcycle pass. Yeah.
Rude.
God, we're talking about cosmic stuff and thongs and some hoon on a motorcycle. It's just right with this really important part of the story. Okay, so that's happening. So then,
It's real life.
it's real life.
Yeah.
It's all for real. So yeah, so they would pop over into her, and they literally would go transferring energy, and they would pop into her.
Whoa.
Or she would say transferring energy, and then I'd be like, oh, like robot, like out of control robot weirdo. And then they would start talking through me. So they were jumping in between her and I.
Maybe they were trying to see what was a better fit long term.
I think they were just giving us both the opportunity to see it happen to the other person. I don't know.
Wow.
Like, no, it was like a first date. They're like, who's going to be the better long-term
like
fit for me? Speed dating.
That's
Speed dating.
I
Yeah.
really thought that, Georgia.
I love that.
Laugh it up.
That is hilarious. That is so funny. But we were sorry, blow my nose. Just made me, laughing. So good. Okay, whatever. But anyway, so, and this room, so we're in her, like, kitchen dining room. There was so much energy in this room. We would go out onto her patio, and we were smoking cigarettes, like, okay, good. Don't judge. There's been times in my life when I've been a smoker, but I actually wasn't a smoker at that time. But we were out on the balcony because there was so much energy. We'd be out on the balcony smoking cigarettes just to kind of slow it down.
Right.
And we're like,
You were
what?
really craving the deep breathing.
That's right. Thank you. We were deep breaths.
Yeah.
And
That's what I enjoy. I don't smoke, but when I do,
when I do, it's
I
the
do
deep
love the
breathing. Yeah, the deep
the
breathing.
toxins, not so much. Anyway,
Yeah, but that's
so you're smoking cigs,
We're smoking cigs,
breathing,
breathing. We're
fucking
like
processing.
we're going like, what the fuck is going on in that
Yeah.
room? Literally, excuse my language, because these are the only words that can really explain how mad it was, right? So then, and we would go back, we would like put the cigarette out. I swear to God, I swear everything I say on this podcast is the truth of my reality. We would walk back into that room and just get knocked to the floor. Like just walking and be like, ugh, like crazy robot would be like, ugh, down on the ground, like, ugh. with how much energy there was.
Wow.
It was completely mad. So we sort of finished up that session of the day, and I used to stay with her, and she had gone off in the next morning, had gone off to go and get coffee, and I'm lying in the bed, and then it was like, and again, not in a creepy way, but it was like I could feel all these like little hands all over me, and I could hear in my head like, we're clearing you, we're opening you, we're clearing you, we're clearing you, and they were doing some kind of energy attunement or treatment or something on me.
In you.
On me. That was very respectful. I was like, yeah.
We're not respectful.
We're not respectful.
They are respectful.
The spirits are darlings. They're beautiful. So anyway, so they're doing this. We're clearing you. We're healing you. We're clearing you. We're getting you ready.
And you were just like,
well, no, I was like, well, maybe you should wait till Lisa comes back. Oh, I just said her name. There we go. Boom. Cat's out of the bag. Sorry. That's not her name. That is her name. Who knows?
Finkel. I know her. Finkel. Go on.
Anyway, so I was like, well, maybe you should wait until she gets back, just in case we added that. Well, wait till she comes back, and I don't really know what's like Goofy the dog. Oh, and so then we got her friend to come over and video it, and the looks on our faces, like as the energy is in the other person, just like dead, like staring into the camera, like, can you believe this fucking shit is happening? Like, can't even believe it. So we had that day, we had this weekend, it was this full weekend, crazy energy, lots of, and it wasn't when you listen to the channeling now, it's pretty smooth. But it was all, wow, we are here, and, the tone, because they really had to blast the system open to get through. So it was very loud and very, very energetic. And that's really how it began.
Yeah.
And I guess in the next show, I'll be probably really talking about then, like, when something like that happens, how do you even believe that it's happening?
Right.
Because when I went back to LA, driving it, up the 101 going, like, what actually happened back there? Is that, and when you have these big energy experiences, as they kind of fade out a little and your reality is coming back, your more kind of 3D solid, linear reality is coming back.
Yeah.
It's like, am I just mad, basically? Am I just completely mad?
Right.
Yeah.
And I think if you're not that you were at the time, but someone else, maybe if you're surrounded by a bunch of non-believers, you could just think, I'm just fucking crazy. I don't know what that was, but I'm crazy.
Yeah. And there's definitely,
this is not real.
This is not, and yet you have examples of other people doing this. So, and I think more for me was also like, again, like, why me? Or is there just something about me that actually, because I want attention, I'm like making this up.
Sure.
Like my career as a comedian has just been, you're questioning everything. Like what's going on in my ego and my consciousness that I might actually just be trying to make this up, because initially, of course, the information that I was getting, honestly, it was just a little bit like an Abraham covers band. Like I wasn't really getting anything very new and I had listened to a lot of Abraham. So it was just like, maybe I'm just like an Abraham hack and I'm not, whatever. Like, I don't know. You don't know. Yeah. You don't know.
Yeah.
So
right. You're in territory that you've never been in before.
You're in, exactly. And you're just kind of making your way through it. So, and just coming back to the purpose of the show is there's a lot of people out there who are in this unknown territory.
Right.
And whether you believe in this stuff, whether you're curious about it or whether you don't believe in it, I just kind of encourage people to listen to this, even if it's just interesting to you, because if not you, maybe somebody else in your life has some gift or ability. And just because it's not happening to you doesn't mean it can't be happening to someone else and that you love. And it's like, why would you, someone plays the trombone and, it's like, God, you're such a weirdo for playing the trombone. It's like, no, something in my wiring lets me do this particular thing. And that doesn't obviously for the people who are into my work, they love it. And they're like, right, you're awesome. But when I'm out there my dad doesn't believe this. Most of the people, a lot of my good friends do not believe in this stuff.
And do they even know what
and they don't even necessarily know everything.
And that's why you're coming out of it.
Yeah, because I also feel like this is just part of me.
Sure.
It's not everything at me. Right. And I don't want it to be.
She's a skydiver, by the way.
By the way, yeah. That's what I'm most worried that I'm going to this show will come out and then I'll show up on the drop zone and everyone will be like, check out the weirdo. Because we have to jump out of planes together. No
one's going to want to jump out of the plane with me.
I'll be like, oh, Lord, my own in the corner. No one wants to hold my hand in the sky. But the fear of the social ostracization, however that should be said, is much greater. And I will talk more about that, why that actually is happening, because it's part of the mind survival system to be threatened by this stuff. Because the mind wants to keep control of us and keep us in its limited egoic identity.
Sure.
It wants to keep us in limitation. We're going to get into all of this. There's so much to that. We were talking last night just how much there is to get in this. Oh, I'll tell that little story about, I told you earlier though, when I went to
I already forgot.
I know, you already forgot. She doesn't care. No. So I will say this, that after this happened, I was back up in LA and I was like, look, as we do, the universe, beings, give me a sign that this is something that is actually happening, that these beings are saying, like, you're going to learn all this stuff about how reality actually is and everything. I'm like, give me a sign. And I used to hike a lot at Runyon Canyon all the time, as everybody did, hike out the Hollywood stress, just hike out the Me Too.
No.
You can't be, you have to.
Yeah, you have to.
But so hiking, and I'm like, give me a sign. And at Runyon Canyon, there's this certain lookout point, which everybody will stop at. There's a bench there, and you look out all over Hollywood. And it really is like a wonderful spot and one of my favorite parts of LA and of living in LA. There was a lot of good things about LA. And lo and behold, I get up to the lookout, and friggin' Lawrence Fishburne from The Matrix.
That's right. I remember.
He's sitting on the park bench. I'm like, Mobius is here.
You're like, so yeah. This is the sign.
This is the sign. I am going down the rabbit hole hardcore.
Wow.
Hardcore.
I was going to ask if he was wearing black leather.
Yeah. He wasn't wearing the Matrix outfit, but he was definitely looking very Lawrence Fishburne. But yeah, so that's kind of when I knew. But it took a lot, and we'll be telling more stories of like what we did to believe.
Hey guys, thanks for listening. Hope you're enjoying it so far, and I hope you've subscribed by now. Be sure to rate, review, and tell a friend. And when you're done doing that,
trot on over to circleevolution.com. You can listen to the Circle of Light, these beings that I keep talking about that speak through me and say all this cool stuff. And then after you've checked that out, make sure you
go visit themarslab.com to see what in the world it is I offer.
Yeah, so much cool stuff. And we'll see you very soon on the next episode of Coming Out of the Cosmic Closet.
Oh, so good.
So good. Cans, man.